What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, Iron Logan. Thank you for visiting yet again, and if it's your first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy my content, and if you do, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me, and by doing so you'll also go straight into the draw to win yourself your very own Batman figure that I'm giving away once I reach 1K subscribers. So stick around to the end of the video to see how easy it is to win. Today, I'm happy to finally share my review and 10 plus pose showcase with you all. I have to tell you, when I originally started planning to do this video, I was certain I was only going to do a max of 5 poses at the end to showcase what the figure could do, as I'm also planning to do a massive Captain America pose showcase using all of my Captain America figures, including this guy, Infinity War cap which I just picked up, and the Winter Soldier 2-pack that I just did a pose showcase with already on the channel. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. So because of that, I only plan to do 5 total poses here, as I didn't want to run out of posing ideas with him. But when I started filming, I got a little carried away and finished up with 10 poses at the end of the review today. I had so much fun trying to pose this figure, and I enjoyed the challenge to see what I could get him to do, as he is quite difficult to pose and does have some mobility issues. Nonetheless, I don't care about any of that because damn, he is a fantastic looking figure and a must have in the collection if you're a Captain America fan, without a doubt. His character arc in the MCU was an absolute pleasure to witness, and to get that satisfying conclusion to his story in Endgame, for me, was perfect. Now thanks to Hot Toys, I have a representation of him and his story on my shelf that I can now enjoy by either recreating moments from the film, or as I like to do, create my own moments using my imagination. Today, firstly, I will review the head sculpt and the interchangeable faceplates, then the accessories and the figure before moving on to the poses at the end, where today I try some different filming techniques to try and bring the poses to life. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, with that, let's get on with the show. Guys, for me, this is one of the best head sculpts I've ever seen. I mean, just look at it. The sculpt is spot on. This is Chris Evans. This is Steve Rogers. This is Captain America. I love the expression and detail of his facial features. The eyes pop when the light hits them, and the golden color of his hair and sculpting is perfect. Even with the side profile here, he looks spot on. The jawline and cheek muscles really do look realistic and match Chris Evans. The shape of the head and skin color all appear to be the best I've seen Hot Toys achieve for Cap so far. I have to say this is one of the reasons why I love collecting 1/6 scale figures. The level of detail and craftsmanship that goes into creating miniature versions of people is next level. And to get them to this level of accuracy like this guy right here is pure artwork. Now I have to say as well, I'm very pleased with how I got the lighting for this close-up, because I feel the right lighting can really bring your figures to life. It really is such an important part of how you view and display your figures. Let me know if you agree in the comments down below. All in all though, for me it's an absolute 10 out of 10 for this head sculpt. Taking a look at the helmeted head sculpt with the first of the 3 faceplates that he comes with. This one being the calm, stoic expression. I think this one is great for museum-like poses if you like your cap looking strong and heroic on the shelf. The shape of the head is great, and the engineering they've used here makes it very difficult to see that the faceplates can be removed. For me, having different expressions is gold for posing and creating more options for photography. So I'm very happy to have this option here. This one here at first, I was skeptical, but once getting it in hand, I really like it. And from side on, it's perfect for recreating that scene in the movie where he catches Mjolnir. Now, some angles it does look a little strange, but all in all, it's grown on me because it's an in-between calm and hell-bent angry look that you don't get much of. It's a look of determination and grit, and I really like the options it provides for posing. And when I was posing with this faceplate, I got 2 great poses with it, and that's because of that look it has and the emotion it portrays. Finishing up with the third and final faceplate, the angry expression. I really like this one. It blends with the eyes and looks real. The teeth look good and are sculpted well. I love having an aggressive expression like this because it just adds so much to posing, especially for action dynamic poses. Just by changing the look on the character's face, it completely changes the mood and the intention of the scene you are trying to create. Now, I do fail to show you how the faceplates are interchangeable in this video. However, it is shown in the instruction manual that he comes with, not to mention everyone else who's done an unboxing and review video shows you how to do it, so if needed, go check out one of those awesome content creators. It's pretty easy, they are attached with magnets and slot in and out underneath the mask. You just have to be gentle, line it up correctly, and follow the instructions. Now, let's move on to the accessories. Okay, let's move on to the accessories. Now, I do apologize in advance if there's a bit of noise in the background. There's a massive storm going on outside right now while I'm trying to record this, but I'm not going to let it stop me. We've got to keep hustling, keep moving, keep getting this content out. So onwards and upwards, let's get on with it. We'll start off with the base. Now, it's the same type of base that's been coming with the Infinity War and Endgame figures. It's got the Captain America on the front, got the shield, nice colors and everything. Very light. It also comes with the crotch grabber here. I will use that for a few poses just to show what you can do with it. But me, I like the dynamic stands, so I'm probably going to be doing a lot more with them. Moving on to his hands, he does come with a pair of fisted hands, which are currently on the figure. And then we got these hands here. These top two, they're gripping hands. As you can see, great paint detail. I think they're great. They do the job. It's just getting these on and off is a pain in the butt. I know other people experience that problem. Such a pain in the butt. Then you've got grasping and shield throwing hands, and then the iconic pointing. We will use that at some point. You know Cap's got to be leading the charge. Okay, this bit here is off the shield, which I'll show you in a second. We've got this little thing here. So his compass with a picture of Peggy. Great detail. Let's see if I can get in on it. It wants to focus. It articulates as well. You're really only ever going to use that probably once or twice for posing. Moving on to the helmet. So I already used this for the intro to the video. Again, you're not going to do that much with it, other than put it in maybe a museum pose with it. Great detail, good colours. I like it as an accessory, no problemo at all. Now we'll move on to Mjolnir, the hammer. I'm so glad to get this, as I only have Infinity War Thor, so I don't have this. So I'm super glad to add it to the collection because I'll be using it with Cap and with Thor, especially for posing. Great details. As this is the first one I've had, I've got nothing to compare it to, so looking at it here, it looks great. Super light, which I actually like because I don't want it to ruin the arms when I'm posing or leaving them in dynamic poses, so I'm okay with it being light like that. We'll move on to the broken shield. Looks fantastic. Definitely going to use this. I know when the D23 one was released, they had issues with that, and now it's fixed with this, so that's very cool. I'll be very careful putting this on and off because those straps are a bit of a pain too. Good weathering, plastic as well. Again, I like it because it makes it lighter. Got the broken pieces here. They do actually, if you try to slot it on together, looks really close, as if you could put it back together. Very cool. Then we've got the main shield. Lots of weathering, Again, plastic, which I like for the posing. On the back, you can see I've already put the back attachment to attach it to his back. So with this pops off, quite easy actually, and then you stick this thing on the back and then it hooks into his back to have the shield sit there, so not bad. Magnet would be awesome, this will do. Very cool. And that's pretty much everything Cap comes with, so let's get on to the figure. Moving on to Cap's overall look and articulation before getting into the pose showcase. Honestly guys, I can tell you right now, this guy right here is my favorite Captain America figure. I cannot wait to do some photography and do some posing and see what this guy can do. A great addition to the collection, super glad I got him. The design of the body looks great, the design of the suit, the colors, all the accessories, and that head sculpt, damn, that head sculpt is good, man. Hot Toys did a great job on this one. So super happy, and I know you will be too if you pick this guy up for sure. So with that, let's take a look. Let's get in a bit closer for the details on the suit. As you can see here, you got the star there, the scale mail on the chest. It's very tight fitting here as well. The material does feel very tactical, like Kevlar, very tight fitting. The type of feel you think that a Captain America suit would have when he's going into battle and needs a bit of protection on his body. The physique is great, so you got the traps, the shoulders, arms, the way the back comes down into the waist. He's got a bit of definition there, slimming by the waist. I would say I would like the legs to be a little bit thicker, but all in all, such a great looking figure. Let's take a look at the back. He does need some glutes. He needs to do some glute days for sure. But overall, great looking figure. Now, in regards to articulation, so the head moves all the way around, no issues. It moves front and back, no issues. With the arms, they are quite stiff. So if you have a look here, just be careful around here when you're lifting the arm up. So it is quite tight to get up. But with some fiddling and fussing, you can definitely get some achievable good range of motion poses, which I'll do for the pose showcase. It's a bit hard to do right here while I'm talking and doing this. The elbows, so you got extra material in here, so if when you're folding up the arm, you can get that double bend, which is great. Again, I'll show that in the pose showcase. You do have to be careful of the hands. They like to pop off on mine quite easy, and it's quite difficult to get them onto the wrist pegs. That's an issue I've had. I don't know about everyone else, but so I'm being very careful with that so I don't knock it off during this review. The legs come back, no problems, and the ankles have great articulation as well, same as every other Cap. In regards to pulling them up at the waist, there's not much movement there, and not much movement here. But again, when you start fussing and being super careful, which I advise everybody to do, we'll be able to create some cool poses. Also be careful of the belt too, you don't want to knock that off because that is clipped on there. In regards to the torso, so it twists back really good. You will get bunching there, so be careful. And the crunch is actually pretty good too, so we'll get some crunch action going for the pose showcase. Twist, there is twist there, if you can hear that. So he does twist. He feels good, and I feel like he's going to pose better than the other Captain America figures I have. He does feel a bit stiff right now, but I like that because I don't want him to get loose quickly. And I would just worry about the balance a little bit too. He's a bit hard to balance. But as we get more dynamic, we'll be using stands, so let's get to it. Pose number 2, technically, because I'm counting the pose from the intro with the head sculpt as pose 1. A nice simple heroic stance of Cap standing there that's not too stressful on the figure, which I think would look great in anyone's display. As you can see, I'm using a diorama display here. This is the Captain America display made by Base Station. I just picked this up and received it whilst making this video, so I've decided to now use this to do all the poses with for the rest of the video to show you what you can create with a diorama and how it can elevate your poses and display options to the next level. Pose number 3, a nice simple walking pose. This is another safe pose for a long-term display option. I actually love walking poses. I love how many different looks and walks you can create with simple tweaks and movement changes to the figure's limbs. On this one, I think I nailed the movement, and with the addition of the diorama and inclusion of Thor's hammer there on the ground, I think it's a great scene and definitely a display I'd consider leaving him in on the shelf for a while. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Pose number 4, another walking pose. However, this time with the change of the faceplate and having him hold his shield and hammer along with changing the direction he is looking and moving in, it changes the tone and adds tension to the scene. This now looks like he's ready and walking into battle, even like he's stepping down, looking down at an enemy he's just struck down. In a second, I will switch the camera angle to give you another view from below, which again I think can change the way you see and feel about a pose. You can do this in your own display by simply adjusting where you place your figures and where you view them from. Try it out, see what you think. Pose number 5, getting more dynamic now. I really love how this one looks from certain angles. From some other angles though, it's not quite as strong, at least on the turntable. I think this is a great display option for the shelf and great for photography, which I've done with this pose on my Instagram page where I do toy photography. Go check it out if you're into seeing your figures photographed, it's the same name. But it's not as strong from all angles, so for this one I'm showing you my favorite angles here first before letting him spin fully round. Like this angle here coming up, I love this angle for this pose. You know, it's actually not that hard of a pose to do either. I'm really just playing around with the angle and movement of his body by using the dynamic stand. I'm playing off the diorama and I'm using it to help me tell the story. Throw in the aggressive faceplate and tweak the limbs to appear as natural as possible for the movement you're going for and scene. The legs aren't that stressed. There is a torso twist. The left arm is up and tucked quite tight and the right arm is out a bit, but pretty safe nonetheless. I think it's a strong display option for Cap and would look great on the shelf. Pose number 6. Okay, with this one, I tried something a little different. It's actually 3 different poses in a sequence that I'm counting as one pose in 3 parts, if that makes sense. I'm doing this because I only made slight tweaks with the figure and then changed the angles with the dynamic stand to tell 3 different stories with pretty much the same pose. Part 1 here is Cap leaping forward, raising the hammer, launching into action. This one here is part 2. Cap is leaping upward to take on a taller enemy. This is basically the same exact pose. I just changed the direction of his body with the dynamic stand and then the direction of the hammer, and everything else is pretty much the same. But because of the angle, it gives 2 very different looks on the shelf, I feel. I will say this is also a fairly stressful pose to put the figure in, and I probably won't leave him in this type of pose for too long, just as an FYI. So far, part 1, Cap launched forward into action. This one, part 2, now he's jumping up to attack. Next up, we'll finish the sequence with part 3 once he swings back around on the turntable. Okay, part 3. Cap flying through the air now, about to lay the smackdown. Still pretty much the same pose overall. I've changed the angle of the body again with the dynamic stand. This time I did move the left arm down with the shield and bent his right leg up a bit to create the illusion of momentum as he flies into the air. But other than that, the head, torso, left leg, right arm have not been moved at all. I think this one is the one I like the best out of the 3. And it also completes the 3-part sequence, Cap launching forward into battle, then jumping up to face the enemy, and then flying through the air wielding the hammer, ready to lay the smackdown. Pose number 7. That iconic moment when Cap catches Mjolnir in Endgame, right before he says, "Avengers assemble." One of my favorite moments in film ever. I had to do my take on it, and I ended up with this one. It's pretty damn close, but just a little different. I chose to shoot it looking up as I think it just makes him look more massive and makes the scene look and feel more epic. I threw in the broken parts of the shield and placed them on the diorama, and I love the way that looks. This is the pose the grit and determination faceplate was made for, so I had to do it. This is definitely one of my favorite display options and poses for this Cap so far, and I think it's a great way to honor the character and that moment in the film. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Pose number 8. Cap now running into battle with broken shield and hammer in hand, leading the way and following on from the previous pose and scene. For this pose, I've gone back to the aggressive faceplate as I feel it works better with this pose as I'm trying to bring across his energy exertion in doing this movement. I want you to see that he's running flat out, yet about to switch direction to the right. I do this by having him have his body leaning to the right and forward to show the momentum of his action. And to add intention and direction, I've moved the head to the right, so when you catch his eyes, you can see the direction he's about to go in because of where he's looking. I think this pose will work best on the shelf at a slight angle. Pose number 9. My attempt at Cap throwing the hammer. I do like this one. I'll admit though, it was a little tough to get to a point where I was happy with it, and I still think it could be better. I would have loved to get his right arm coming across his body more, but I was pushing the suit quite a bit, so I tried an alternative by again changing the angle of his body. This is made possible by using the dynamic stand. You'll see I have him leaning into the left a bit, and this is to portray the action like he's been running forward and just wound up and launched the hammer from his hip. So meaning he swung up from down low to the right and launched it. From particular angles, I'm happy with it, and I think it looks great. On the shelf, it will work well, as you just need to display it from the angle that works for you. Pose number 10. I can do this all day. You know, for the whole time I was filming and posing for this video, I was planning on having the last pose be Cap with Iron Man and Thor, with Cap pointing and leading them into battle, as I thought that would be a great way to pay tribute to what he's about and honor the character by showing him lead and be the leader of the best of the best. But then I thought of this pose, simple, on his own, with all the things laying on the ground around him, hands up, full of grit, determination and a will like no other. A true hero. I think this portrays the courage that Cap has always exuded and is a perfect way to finish up my showcase on him. So, with this will conclude my Captain America Avengers Endgame review and pose showcase. I hope you've enjoyed this video and now have some new ideas for displaying your Endgame Cap. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, as I have much more planned, including my new show coming soon called Posed Up, where I chat with the collector whilst we pose up a figure to display at the end. Lastly, I'm on a mission to reach 1K subscribers to grow the channel, so by subscribing today, you will go into the draw to win your very own DX02 Dark Knight Batman figure with a custom wide cape that I'm giving away myself once we reach 1K. It would mean a lot and will help grow the channel, so be a legend and join the team. Until next time, live your life, have fun, and keep posing. I'm out.